It gives me great pleasure to be here with you this morning. Let me say how honored we at the Reserve Bank of Fiji are to host the Alliance for Financial Inclusion 12 Pacific Islands Working Group meeting, along with AFI, and I take this opportunity to welcome each and every one of you. For our visitors from abroad, I hope you all had a pleasant flight into Fiji and that you will enjoy your stay with us here in the coming days. At the outset, I wish to commend each one of you for your continued dedication, hard work, and passion towards driving financial inclusion in your respective countries. This is evident through your presence here with us this morning. It is also a proud moment when our Pacific region is singled out and used as a focal point when it comes to discussions pertaining to financial inclusion. As a regional group, we have made a lot of inroads since we started in 2009, and we must continue our bond in order to stay ahead. As a group, the way we work together can only be characterized as the Pacific way. I urge you all to continue our collaborative efforts and benefit from this peer learning experience. There is a growing body of evidence that supports the maxim of building inclusive financial sectors. Financial inclusion supports development, contributes to an efficient financial system, and enables all members of the community, especially the marginalized and the poor, to improve their livelihoods, and thus empowering them to effectively contribute to the economy. All this supports the UN Millennium Development Goals of halving by 2015 the portion of world population that live in extreme poverty. It is clear that we are also seeing changes in the landscape of central banking in recent years. Whilst many central banks have traditionally focused on such core policy objectives as price stability and sufficient foreign reserves, more and more have now taken additional lead roles in advocating financial inclusion initiatives in their respective countries, building towards an inclusive financial system that recognizes and makes available different types of financial services and products that are affordable, accessible, and appropriate for all citizens. As a group, we learn from each other's experiences, but we also tailor our programs and initiatives to suit our own unique country situations. The environment in which we operate constantly evolves, and we need to embrace the innovations in technology to facilitate the provisions of an inclusive financial system. Fellow colleagues, let us take a moment to reflect on the vision and mission of our working group. Our vision is that financial services are widely accessed by all Pacific Islanders. To get there, we have a mission statement that urges us to create conditions that lead to the financial empowerment of Pacific Islanders in the short to medium term. As a region, we have established and achieved a number of outcomes, and we must take pride in our achievements to date. In the last 5 years, some of us took bold steps and established specific departments or units within our central banks to drive financial inclusion-related measures. We have set policies and guidelines to enable other stakeholders in our countries to contribute and be part of the financial inclusion cause. Some of us have set up a national financial inclusion task force to guide and spearhead the development work and initiatives in this area. With this in mind, it was pleasing to note at last year's AFI Global Policy Forum in Malaysia that the Bank of Papua New Guinea and the Central Bank of Samoa formally pledged their commitments under the Maya Declaration. They thus joined the Reserve Bank of Vanuatu, the Central Bank of Solomon Islands, and the Reserve Bank of Fiji, who made their commitments earlier. I am hopeful that our friends from the Banco Central de Timor-Leste and National Reserve Bank of Tonga will also make commitments in due course. Colleagues, over the last few years, we have witnessed the introduction of innovative products and services in our countries, such as mobile financial services and microinsurance, as well as the opening up of a lot more bank accounts. As a group, we have undertaken a comprehensive data project where we have our own very PIWG Core Plus indicators. We are all working on providing an enabling regulatory framework to support innovation in these areas. The introduction of financial literacy and education programs for school children and adults alike has also been at the forefront of our work. However, whilst we may want to give ourselves a pat on the back, let us not get complacent. Rather, let us be inspired to further push the boundaries and produce more tangible results in our countries and across the region. Financial inclusion is about thinking outside the box, because what is required is beyond the norm. What is required is innovative thinking. I therefore invite us to put our collective thinking caps on in this regard over the course of the next few days. Allow me to suggest a few issues for possible deliberation. The Financial Inclusion Monitoring Framework, according to international standards, looks at access, usage, and quality indicators. Financial access points are just the building blocks. What is important is getting our people to understand and use these financial products and services. For example, even though remitting funds through mobile phones is perhaps the cheapest of the channels, we still see other alternative expensive mediums being used. We ask the question, why is this so? As a working group, we need to see the translation to active usage of all these positive developments. It is promising to note that we are beginning to gain ground on the financial access points being now visible in our countries. But this must simultaneously be accompanied by active usage. This will provide economies of scale for the provider and therefore the sustainability of a particular product or service. During the next 2 days, I think it would be timely if we can deliberate on why there is low uptake for certain financial products and services, for instance, mobile financial services. I know answers to some of these questions can only be determined by asking the very people on the ground, the intended customers. To this end, we need to work towards a national demand survey in our respective countries. PIWG may also explore the idea of a Progress Out of Poverty Index. The index measures, assesses, and tracks the poverty level over time, and is a tool that is statistically sound, yet simple in its implementation. Remittances are another important area for us. What can be done to improve remittance flows, as they can play a pivotal role in advancing financial inclusion in our countries? Similarly, the encouragement of micro, small, and medium enterprises is another crucial area in the financial inclusion sphere. What do we need to do to further develop and grow these sectors in our economy? Ladies and gentlemen, colleagues, the lights are gone. Please allow me to give you a quick update on developments in Fiji after our last meeting in September of 2013. I understand we have a session for country updates later today, so I'll keep this brief. In the last 2 quarters, we have been able to accomplish a number of initiatives. The National Financial Literacy Strategy for Fiji has been endorsed by the government for implementation. We hosted the inaugural National Microfinance Awards during the Pacific Microfinance Week, which a number of you witnessed firsthand. And we finalized the Consumer Protection Pre-Disclosure Template, which will be implemented by our licensed financial institutions in the coming quarter. Colleagues, it gives me immense pride and joy to inform all of you that on the 28th of February 2014, we successfully achieved our target of reaching 150,000 unbanked Fijians. This is a target we had initially set in November of 2009, following our first stakeholder workshop, and one which we made a part of our Maya Declaration in Cancun in 2011. This goal would not have been achieved without the collaborative effort of all the stakeholders in Fiji, and we are sincerely grateful to them all. While we have had some success, this does not in any way mean that the work is finished. In fact, this is only the first step in the long journey that we committed to undertake. This is a great platform from which we will chart the next phase of development for financial inclusion in Fiji. I would therefore like to announce that the bank, together with the National Financial Inclusion Task Force, is taking stock of all the financial inclusion initiatives undertaken in the country to date, and we will use this information over the coming 9 months to develop a new financial inclusion strategy for Fiji that will run from 2015 to 2020. In closing, I thank you for making it to Denarau this week. I urge you to keep your focus on the goals you have set out to achieve. This meeting provides a great platform to take stock, share experiences, discuss issues concerning the region and challenges encountered, and identify opportunities to pursue to take our goals to another level. In a few days, we will also be welcoming delegates from different parts of the world for the AFI Strategy Peer Learning Working Group meeting. Let our small Pacific countries be a good financial inclusion example of firm collaboration and achievement. Last year, when the Reserve Bank of Fiji was awarded the inaugural Maya Declaration Award, I could see the immense pride among all Pacific member countries present, and such achievements bring us closer together as a region. Thank you for your continuous support, and we hope to see PIWG stay ahead of the game. I am certain that at the end of 2 days of fruitful discussion, we will reiterate the commitment we made as a region in overcoming barriers and building bridges to deliver quality financial services to all our citizens. Lastly, I encourage you all to take advantage of our Fijian hospitality. Please enjoy the array of goods and services and attractions that we have to offer, and most of all, enjoy your experience with us. Thank you for your attention. Vinaka Vakalev.